Yo, what's happening, YouTube? Okay, so there's a chance that this might not work properly because I've been having some issues with my SD card, but fingers crossed, we're manifesting. Anyway, for those of you who don't know what this is Progress Report. This is a series where I go through my analytics as a performer and I give you guys an update of everything that I have going on with the music right now. And if you don't know who I am Nomad222. I'm a performer, event producer, content creator. I do a bunch of different things, wear a bunch of creative hats. Most importantly, I'm a father of 4 beautiful kids based in Naarm, Melbourne. And I want to recognize that I am sitting on unceded land of the indigenous people of this country and give my recognition to the traditional custodians of this land, past, present, and emerging. And also, just acknowledge indigenous people everywhere. As a half Maori, half Samoan person, it's very important for me to recognize that and acknowledge that. And it's something that I'm trying to be more mindful of and show my gratitude for the privilege that I hold as someone who's able to, live and thrive on this land. And with that out of the way, we are sitting on week 13 of the Nomadic Deluxe release. And as an update for those of you who are new, this is a waterfall release where every single week I'm dropping a new single from the album until all 17 tracks are out and the full body of work is there for you to enjoy, along with the skits and the poems and everything else that's involved on the project. And now we're in week 13. It's been a whole bunch of days. It's the 31st of October. We started this on the 8th of August. And one of the main strategies behind this and the reason why we track these analytics is to see how the actual, how my entire online presence is affected with consistent releases, consistent music, consistent content and posts across all social media platforms and everything like that. And if you haven't watched the other previous episodes, there's 12 more of them. Go and watch the rest so that you can, get updated with what's happening here. And go check out the album so far. See Me Cry just dropped last night. And all the other songs are out here. Round Here was last week. Yes Sir before that. Started with Jokes on You. And we just dropped a music video with Justin from Strange World Studios. So without any further ado, let's get into the analytics. I'm very excited to share some news with you this week because it's honestly unexpectedly been a big week. So as we always do, let's start off with the Spotify monthly listeners. So from week 1, where we started with 51 monthly listeners, we have had the goal in mind that we want to hit 4 million monthly listeners because there's a lot of reasoning behind that. Go and watch the other episodes. But in this week, we have hit 806 monthly listeners, and that's the all-time highest that we've had since we started releasing music. Last week we were sitting at 625, and the week before that we dropped down to 418, and we went through a 3-week plateau where we reached 442 monthly listeners in week 8. And then it dipped down to 434. And that was our first dip during the entire thing. It hovered around 434 for 2 weeks. And then it went down to 418. And then last week, we shot back up to 625. And now I think this is the biggest jump that we've had so far. We're at 806 monthly listeners. So thank you to everyone who's jumped on board. And now you're part of the journey. You're part of this community that we're building. It blows my mind because the content has been somewhat the same. Obviously, it's a new song every week, so something about Round Here resonated with people, and now you're here. And we couldn't be happier to have you guys here. So thank you so much for jumping on board. Spotify total streams. We started this with 5,632 streams. Now it's in that 10,545 streams. That's damn near 2 times the amount since that we started with. So thank you to everyone who's running it up. We hit 10,000 in the year. I know that a lot of artists who are somewhat in my position, or comparison is the thief of joy, right? I'm not trying to compare myself to anyone else. I know people do bigger numbers than that. Some people do 10,000 their first week. That's great for them. We hit 10,000. It's still a big number in my mind. I couldn't be more grateful. So thank you. Spotify followers, we cracked 200. We started with 173 followers. Now we're at 212. It's been slowly building over time, and it's been a bit difficult to get followers on Spotify. You know, it's one thing to have listeners, but to actually get people to go to my account and hit follow has been a little bit difficult. But I think 212 compared to 197 last week is probably the biggest jump that we've had in that category specifically, you know, in the span of 7 days. So again, thank you. I really appreciate it. Spotify playlist ads. So we started this with 280 playlists, and now we're at 636 playlists. So again, thank you to everyone who's adding it to their playlists and finding value in the music that we're creating. Apple Music monthly listeners. So I had a breakthrough this week where I figured out how I can find the actual monthly listeners number, and you know, down to the second what do you call it, digit or something. And this is something that's been crazy, because for the first 12 weeks we were going off daily listeners over the past 12 months or something, and that was, you know, we've had consistent 2 daily listeners the entire time that we've been doing this. A couple weeks we had 3 daily listeners. That's cool, but it's not an accurate representation of how many people are listening. So I figured out how to find 28 within a 28-day period what our monthly listeners are looking like. So now we have a comparison to Spotify and how these platforms sort of add up. Now, it's nothing major. In saying that, it's nothing. Don't expect anything major. We have 22 monthly listeners on Apple Music. It's better than 2. But yeah, it's just cool to have that comparison now. So now the data across the 2 platforms, Apple Music and Spotify, you know, they correlate in a way, if that makes sense. I'm probably not using the terminology correctly, but 806 monthly listeners on Spotify, 22 monthly listeners on Apple Music. You can see the comparison there. Apple Music total streams. I also found an accurate count for how many total streams we have on Apple Music. And we have 7,917 streams on Apple Music. So that's cool. We're approaching 8,000. So now we don't have to do 7.9K, 7.8K, you know, over time. We can actually get down to the last figure amount, which is cool. Instagram followers. So we went from 4,066 to 4,086 followers. TikTok followers, we went from 5,336 to 5,379. Big jump there. The posts, I've been having some ridiculous luck on TikTok this week. It's always super interesting to see what the algorithm favors and what it doesn't. But this week, it was in my favor. The odds were ever in my favor. So that was cool. YouTube subscribers, we've gained 6 new subscribers, and we're sitting at 497. We are 3 subscribers away from having enough subscribers to meet one of the first metrics of monetizing a YouTube channel. So if you know 3 people, tell 3 people to tell their 3 people and tell their 3 people that we're trying to do a pyramid YouTube scheme and get 500 subscribers, right? So look, I think there's like 2 things of criteria, 2 boxes you need to tick in order to monetize a channel. This is just one of them. But look, we tick off 1 box, and then we're 1 box closer to monetizing the channel. And then that's just 1 box closer to being able to be sustainable off this career path, which is music and content creation. So help a brother out. Let's get to 500. Let's do it as a community and everything like that. But we're close. 497. We're close. The engagement rates. Let's talk about the engagement rates on these platforms. This is interesting to me because we're breaking down my entire following and how my following is engaging and how you guys, the community, are reacting to my content to just a percentage, right? And that's always difficult because I know that on my Instagram, I was getting like 50,000 views. TikTok was like 10,000, YouTube smaller than that. But the interactions, this is why the engagement rate seems so low, because the interactions are like even smaller percentage of those views. So you can have a bunch of views, But if people aren't commenting, liking, or sharing your posts, the engagement rate is going to be slow. So that's what's happened here. But we've had some increases. We've had one decrease. So on Instagram, we had 1.78% engagement rate last week. This week, we have 3.04%. Huge jump. There's been a lot more comments. There's been a lot more shares, like people adding my posts to their stories. I think, one of my most popular clips this week was one of the promos that I posted for Jokes on You, the music video. And it went crazy. Everyone was commenting on it. They commented on the announcement post for it. They commented on like the day after post for it. It's been crazy to see people resonating with that because, not to say that I don't have faith in my content, but you get so used to the patterns and the trends and what's happening over time and how people are reacting to your posts that you kind of become numb to it. You kind of become desensitized to what it is. So then when something happens where one piece of content that in your mind is too similar to everything else that you're posting, it's weird that that's what stands out because you're kind of like, this doesn't make sense to me. I posted something very similar to this the week before or like 3 weeks ago, but that didn't blow up. But now I post this and for some reason you guys are resonating with that, or this is breaking through the algorithm and landing on your feed. So the algorithm's weird is what I'm trying to say. But we got 3.04% this week. That's cool. TikTok, we had 6.28% last week, which was our highest engagement rate since week 9. And then we dipped this week to 5.84, which is still the second highest engagement rate that we've had on TikTok in the past 5 weeks. So that's cool. YouTube rate, it was higher than last week. We were at 0.41% last week, but we are at 0.56% this week, which is the second lowest engagement rate we've had on YouTube for the past 5 weeks. Nothing to be upset about. That's still fine. Like, it's still... YouTube is extremely difficult in 2024. As we know, YouTube's been around for damn near 20 years, over 2 decades, right? And the algorithm has become more and more refined. And in the past couple of years, we've seen the emergence of YouTube Shorts to compete with platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels. And that algorithm in itself is a whole other volatile thing. And the crazy thing that's happened this entire time where I've been, tracking my analytics, the most popular video that continues to get watches and continues to get views is a short that I posted, I want to say like 1 or 2 years ago. So after I performed with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, and this is not me trying to flex or anything like that, but I did perform with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra at the Sydney Myer Music Bowl. After that, I posted a clip of me at the end of my set where I did chee-hoo, right? And I did a chee-hoo, and people are searching chee-hoo on YouTube, and I guess that my video where I'm doing that is one of the first videos that pops up, right? And it's for a bunch of different reasons. People were clowning my chee-hoo. They said I had the most harmonious chee-hoo. They said that chee-hoo was in like 5 different keys and things like that, which is all good. Like I take it in my stride. It's funny. It's hilarious. But that video from 1 year ago is getting more traction than all of the videos that I've posted in this entire thing. So once again, I'm just speaking to how weird the YouTube algorithm is and how different it is compared to, 20 years ago when Smosh posted their first video, or when Ryan Higa was still posting videos and things like that. So, YouTube is an extremely difficult game to get involved in. But I know that across the board, it's not just YouTube, across TikTok, Spotify, Apple Music, Instagram, all of these platforms where I have a presence, I just need one to go, right? I just need one to blow up, and then we're in the game, right? I mean, we're in the game now. The fact that I've got you guys here 14 minutes into this long form video, and you're watching me talk about data and analytics when I'm a musician, when I make music, but you guys are watching me talk about numbers and mathematics and things like that from a spreadsheet, like we're in the game, right? But I just need one thing to go. I just need one video, one song, one of the things that I'm doing here on these platforms to go, and then we're off. We're off to the races, right? And this is more about consistency and having the discipline to remain consistent when it comes to creating this content, you know. And the fact that, you know, I only get a couple hundred or, you know, less views on videos like this, but I still do it anyway. I'm not monetizing the channel. I'm not making money from the streams or anything like that at the moment, but I'm still doing it anyway. And I'm still being consistent, and I'm still making it part of my daily, weekly, monthly routine to create and do this stuff. So, you know, eventually when it does blow up, when shit does hit the fan and we're on that next level, we're actually putting points up on the board, then I'll already have the tendencies and the habits in place for me to continue that growth and to capitalize on that once we get there. So it's all good with me, is basically what I'm trying to say. These streams and how I feel about this release, it's everything that I was hoping that it would be. I wasn't expecting monumental, you know, difference. If it happened, I would be just as grateful. I'm extremely grateful that we've hit 10,000 streams in 13 weeks. I'm extremely grateful that we've got 806 monthly listeners. Even though I have all these larger dreams and metrics that, you know, targets for me, like the 4 million monthly listeners on Spotify, like they're just things to aspire to, right? I'm more than happy that people are just engaging with it more than they did the first time. So if I haven't mentioned it already, this album that we're rolling out, it's an album that I already released like 2 years ago. And then I rebranded from Nomad to Nomad222. And I'm re-releasing this album under that new brand. So that was one thing. But I saw the opportunity there to take all the things that I've learned and all the studies, all the research that I've done on new artists and what it means to be an independent artist in the modern era. And I've implemented it into this release strategy where, you know, the first time around, I just put the whole album out. I had a date. I told everyone it was coming out. It came out. It got slept on. And it's, you know, a big part of that was the fact that it actually didn't get slept on. It just didn't get to the people that needed to hear it because I didn't have the mindset or the acumen to promote it and put the proper marketing behind it like I do now. Where now it's like, you know, the baseline for me is I got to be posting every single day. At least one post every single day related to the music, related to me, related to the brand that we're building and the community that we're cultivating. So everything that's happening now, I've got more streams this time around than I did the first time. I've got more attention on it this time than I did the first time. Songs like Round Here are getting their opportunity to shine and sit in the spotlight for an entire week so that people can actually find it and realize that, hey, this guy is from Melbourne and he's making the kind of music that I like, right? Like Round Here was an extremely slept on song the first time around. But now I got people in my comments telling me that I'm stealing Nipsey's cadence, that it sounds like a Dre type beat. I got different responses from people who didn't hear it the first time around and are like, wow, where has this been? So I'm proving my former self wrong. I'm proving that old mindset wrong, that all I need to do is put music out, and then if it doesn't get the attention that it needs in the first minute, then I'm fucked, that I flopped, that I'm not supposed to be doing this music. I'm wrong. I was wrong. And this is proof of that, you know? And in saying that, like, I'm not going to stop promoting all of this music just because that 7-week period is up. No, I'm letting this whole album rock until the 17 weeks is up. And then even after that, even after the entire album is out, I'm promoting the entire catalog for the rest of my life. Because even though these streams and stuff are doing great, what if there's one person out there who hasn't heard it in this entire 17-week period, but they hear it next year on the 23rd of June, and they show it to their entire friendship group, their families and all of that. They go, listen, I just found this artist who made this song called The News, and it's a perspective rap about from his partner's eyes about when she told him that she was pregnant. It's like Joyner Lucas and things like that. That's another comparison I've been getting. Joyner Lucas, Those are comparisons that I wanted the first time around, but didn't get because I didn't put the effort in behind it. And now I'm getting them now. Imagine that happens next year. And then that song blows up. A song that I created 5 years ago, released 2 years ago, took it down a year ago, and then put back up this year. And then next year, it's going to blow up. Why? Because I'm consistently posting and promoting my music. This is something that Tyler, the Creator, talked about years ago in an interview with Converse. You know, you put so much effort, you put all this labor and all this financing and attention and care into something that you wanted to create, and then you're not willing to promote it. You're not willing to talk about it and gas it up like, hey, I just made this really beautiful thing that I'm proud of. Go and listen to it. You're not willing to do that. That's something that I had to do. I had to put my pride aside. I had to shut my ego up in order for me to let this stuff breathe and let it shine and let it live, right? I pretty much put an album out and then let it die. Like, oh, people don't fuck with it. That's it. It's over for me. But this time around, I'm like, nah, I made this. I'm super proud of it. I've got songs on there that are from perspectives that haven't been touched in rap yet, that haven't been touched in music in general. I've got songs on there that have made my mom cry, that have made my partner cry, and she's a tough nut to crack. Let's be real. I got some very strong women in my life, but if I can make them cry with my music, tears of joy, or tears of sadness because they feel something, that in my mind is a legendary song. So yeah, I'm not going to shut up about this music. Expect a hell of a lot more from me next year. Like this thing that I'm doing here, I love doing this every week. I look forward to it. Every time it's Thursday, I'm like, man, I'm going to film a progress report episode and put it online. And, a couple of you are going to watch it and sit the entire way through it and then comment the stupid thing that I asked you to comment. Like this time around, comment Kiwi Warrior, right? Focus on that, camera. Focus on that. Kiwi Warrior. Comment that below if you watch this video in its entirety. But yeah, I love doing this. This has been a great outlet for me. It's unexpectedly become a video journal for my progress as a human being and as an artist. So expect more of this from me next year. And I've got a bunch of different stuff planned too. I've got a series called Mad Mondays that I'm working on that is going to, start in January and last the entire year and probably onwards after that, where every Monday I'm going to let you guys in and on who I am as a person and start to break down the difference between the man and the artist, or the similarities, like why I even make art in the first place. I've got a bunch of different ideas for content, got a bunch of different ideas for music. The music next year, like, I'm so happy that the music that I'm putting out right now with this album is getting the attention that it's due. But the music that I'm working on and the music that's coming out next year is just going to top it. And then I've just got an even larger catalog to keep promoting and stuff. So that was a lot to get off my chest, a lot that I wasn't expecting. And there's even some things that I didn't get to get off my chest, which is crazy. But the one more thing that I want to remind you guys of today before I sign off is that I was fortunate enough to feature on a song with two of my best friends in the scene. Vina has released a song called WITL. I believe it has the dots in it as well, featuring myself and Strictly DT. It's a new rendition, a new cover, and a new take on the classic Where Is the Love by the Black Eyed Peas. And shout out to my boy Ryan as well from Boom Bap Studios or Boom Bap Records, who recorded us. Shout out to Mika from Under Oath for mixing and mastering the song. But it's out now. And look, music while some people, you know, might disagree and might find it naive that we think that music will be able to change the world, we know that music can't change the world overnight. But we as musicians have a responsibility and a duty to use our platform for the greater good. You know, we have power within our voices, within our words, within our lyrics. And with great power comes great responsibility. You see that guy right there. You see him, Spider-Man. I grew up on Spider-Man. And with everything that's going on in the world right now, this is just our way of adding some commentary to it. And there's probably some other practitioners in this art form who have done better jobs, or, you know, done the job as well. And I encourage you to go and check their songs out too. But if you have a moment, please give our song a play, because all we want to do is unify and bring people together so that they can understand that peace is what we are all craving. Peace is what we strive for. Regardless of your religion, regardless of your race, regardless of your gender, your age, all of that stuff doesn't matter. Every human being that lives on this earth deserves to live freely and experience love in their life. And that's how I feel about it. So if you haven't heard it already, it's on Spotify, Apple Music, WITL, or just find Vina. And if you find Vina, follow her on Spotify, subscribe to her channels, all of that. Wherever you can find the song, make sure you're supporting Vina, because she's doing amazing work. And I'm super proud of this song. I'm super proud of her. I'm super proud of everyone else that jumped on the song. Chantel, Laura, Eva, Mo, you guys are amazing, and your voices are so incredibly powerful. And I'm grateful to have the honor and the privilege to be on the song with you guys. And to my brother Strictly DT, you know how I feel about you, bro. I think you're an incredible talent. And I think you're an even more incredible man and father and husband. And just always an honor to be mentioned in your presence, right? And Vina, thank you for entering my life and just filling it with so much love and enjoyment. I know that, you know, you've got a lot on your mind and your mental when it comes to everything going on. And I hope that you're treating yourself with care. But yes, just so much love for you and everyone else involved. And yes, to everyone who's going through something right now around the world, man, I wasn't expecting it to get this deep right now. You deserve love in your life, and you deserve to live freely. And that's how I want to end this episode at the 27-minute mark. I just turned 27, so look at that. The universe is universing. Thank you for watching. Like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't like it. Please subscribe to the channel. We are 3 subscribers away from 500. Share this around and make sure you're running up the album See Me Cry just dropped, featuring Brooklyn Fairhurst. Sorry, Brooklyn. Let me fix that. Okay, I can't end it like that. Brooklyn Fairhurst and That Kid Maz. Production by DJ Spell. It's out on all platforms. You can run it up. Run up Where's the Love by Vina, featuring Strictly DT and myself. And y'all know my slogan, together we move.